Welcome back to yet another episode of Before You Summon. We have arrived at our first mixed event of the year, so let's get ready for Picture Perfect. This event will run from November 30th to December 8th and is a pure attribute Cheerful Carnival event. Because this is a mixed event, there is no commissioned song. But this is a Nene focused event with Akito, Toya, Anne, and Wonderland Showtime Len as the supporting cast. And the event synopsis reads as follows. Kageyama High School will be holding its very first art festival starting this year, and the class Nene is in, 2A, will be creating a film together. However, what Nene didn't expect is for her to be given a major role, which is to be the one guiding her classmates during the production of the film. Following the event, we of course have an Afterlive that will be running between December 8th and December 9th. If you participate in the Afterlive during the allotted time period, you will be granted the standard 300 crystals and a stamp, the stamp this time around of Akito, called It's a Heavy Setting. The virtual item added with this event is a pair of glow stick in the shape of a director's clapper used for shooting movies. If you want a new set of glow sticks for your virtual live avatar, it will as always set you back 1,000 paid crystals. Of course, we also have a gacha running alongside the event called Your Ticket to the City of Splendors. The gacha will be running from November 30th to December 10th and is of course a limited gacha, meaning the cards will not enter the standard gacha pool once the event ends, instead only becoming available once the gacha reruns in a year's time. This is a standard limited gacha, meaning there are 3 new cards, starting off with our focused girl Nene and her card, Determined Director.
Action!
Nene is a Scorer's Guild card with the skill name Let's Have a Wrap Party, and Scorer's Guild cards will grant 100% score bonus for 5 seconds at talent level 1. And because this is a limited set, of course all 3 cards will arrive with a new hairstyle unlocked at Mastery Rank 2, Nene's new costume being called Hardworking Patissier. The second character in the gacha is Akito with his card Committed Actor.
料理を届ける。それが俺の使命だ。
Akito is a Perfect Looker Guild card with the skill name Keeping Things Up until the end of filming. Perfect Looker Guild cards will make all bad taps and higher into perfect for 5.5 seconds and grant you a score bonus of 80% for 5 seconds at talent level 1. And Akito's hair and costume combination is called Fighting Chef. The final character available in the gacha is Wonderland Showtime Len with the card Ideal Protagonist.
強くてかっこいい主人公がいいな。
Len is a Unit Scorer skill card with the skill name I Wanna Be the Hero. And Unit Scorer skill cards have a very long skill text. They will grant you 80% score bonus for 5 seconds and then an additional 10% score bonus for every Wonderland Showtime character, excluding Len himself. You gain an additional 10% extra score bonus when all characters are from Wonderland Showtime, meaning that a full team of Wonderland Showtime cards will grant you 130 score bonus for 5 seconds. All this at talent level 1, while Len's costume is called Dreaming Pastry Chef. Of course, we also have 2 exchange shop cards available once the event opens. Toya taking the 2-star slot with his card Onto the Wardrobe Crew. And Toya is a cool attribute healer skilled card. And of course, Anne then takes the 3-star slot with her card Helping Out with the Script Writing. Anne is a mysterious attribute healer skilled card with the skill name Viewing Party Start. Both of these cards will be available for the standard prices through the exchange shop once the event opens. Finally, because this is a Cheerful Carnival, we will have 2 teams competing for the throne. The question this time around is, which genre of movies do you prefer to see? Your choices is action versus comedy, and the winner on the Japanese server was action movies. Of course, as always, it's not certain that the same team that won on the Japanese server will win on the English server, so take it with a pinch of salt. But with that, we've covered all of the general information you needed to know about the event, so we can instead look towards the event team building. As always, the new cards from the event gacha are considered this event's focus cards, meaning that they will grant the 70% bonus. And keep in mind the changes to event bonus gain from mastery that we saw with the 3rd anniversary. But those things are a given. Instead, we are looking towards which cards you can use with a 50% bonus to fill out your roster and build an entire event team. And this time around, I will not start with the focus character, instead I will start with the virtual singer. And people who've been watching the channel for a long time might have a gut feeling why I'm doing this. This is a mixed event, meaning that only Len can grant the 50% bonus if he has the correct attribute and the correct unit, being Wonderland Showtime. This also means that only Len can grant the 40% bonus if he is blank or unitless while still having the correct attribute. This makes it so that during this event, Len has no cards with a 50% bonus and a single card with a 40% bonus, being his Happy Anniversary card from the first year. This is the entire selection for the virtual singer slot of this event. So getting that bummer of a dead team slot out of the way, sorry Len, it's nothing personal, we can move over to our first focus character being Nene, who has 6 available cards with a 50% bonus. This includes Nene's 2-star card from the event One Small Trip Before a Big Journey and 2 3-star cards, the first one releasing with the release celebration gacha and the second one with the event In This Singing City, or 2.5 anniversary as it's more commonly known. Nene also has 2 4-star cards, both of which are permanent. The first 4-star card was released with the event Mesmerized by Mermaids, while the second one was released with the event A Canary That Sings in Crisis. Finally, Nene's 6th card is a bonus card in the form of her Happy Birthday card from the first year. Finishing off the gacha characters when we're at it, Akito has 6 available cards as well. This includes his 2-star card from the event A Brand New Year Lion Dance Robot New Year's Show and his 3-star card from the event Heat Up Kageyama High Shearing Squad, as well as 3 4-star cards, 1 limited, 2 permanent. Akito's limited card comes from the event at this festival Bathe in Twilight that is more commonly known as 2nd Anniversary. His first permanent card comes from the event Same Dreams, Same Color, while the second one comes from the Arkender event for Vivid Bad Squad, On Your Feet. Just like Nene, Akito also has a final bonus card in the form of his Happy Birthday card from the second year. Making our way over to the exchange shop characters, we start with the 2-star card. Toya has 5 available cards in his roster. This includes his 2-star card from the event Vivid Old Tale, his 3-star card from the event Awakening Beat, and 3 4-star cards, all of which are permanent. Toya's first permanent 4-star comes from the event the Tenma Household Hinamatsuri event, his second one comes from the event Same Colors, Same Dreams, and his final one comes from the Vivid Bad Squad Arkender event, On Your Feet. This leaves us with our 3-star representative being Anne, who has 6 available cards as well. Anne actually has 2 2-star cards, the first one coming from the event Power of Unity, while the second one comes from the event Burn My Soul. Anne also has a 3-star card from the release celebration gacha, as well as 2 4-star cards, 1 limited, 1 permanent. Anne's limited card comes from the event Wishing for Happiness Upon the Blue Sky, while the permanent one comes from the event Same Colors, Same Dreams. Her 6th and final card is another bonus card in the form of yet another Happy Birthday card. Hers, just like Nene's, is from the first year. And that covers the entire selection of cards with a 50% bonus for this event. We do have 2 asterisks though for this event, as neither the 2-star Nene or the 2-star Anne has yet entered the standard gacha pool when Picture Perfect runs. Burn My Soul is obviously an event that ran last month, meaning it has not yet entered the standard gacha pool. And One Small Trip Before a Big Journey is still 1 or 2 months away before it enters the standard gacha pool, as we're currently only reaching up until Friendship Rebuilt at the time of Picture Perfect. Therefore, it's also worth mentioning that the 2.5 anniversary 3-star card for Nene has just barely entered the standard gacha pool by the time of Picture Perfect's gacha. Of course, there is another 3-star Nene, so that's not a major issue, but it's worth mentioning that she hasn't been in the gacha pool for very long at this point. And this is a classical mixed event team building. Everything is awful. While there isn't a lot of limited cards at least clogging up the 4-star selection, the 4-star selection is still minuscule. And 3 of the cards, being the Canary That Sings in Crisis Nene and the Arkender On Your Feet Toya and Akito, are cards I would consider semi-new. There has been a lot less opportunities to get these cards, as they still are pretty new cards. On top of that, we have the standard glorious problem with virtual singers just being virtual singers and never being available when it's a mixed event. At least the availability of the second pure 3-star Nene isn't a problem, since we do have the one from the release celebration gacha to weigh it up. But like, this event team building is bad. What am I supposed to say? It's a mixed event. It just happens every time they do this. I really just hope that most people can make a team with a 200% event bonus out of 3-star cards or higher. Of course, if you're a new player, this is going to be quite difficult, as this event is very stingy and very narrow. I can even see it being a problem for veterans that just don't have the cards needed to build a great event team around this event. But as always, I really just hope that people can put together a decent event team, because this event team building is really bad. I really don't have the energy to keep complaining about mixed events being this bad, so I think instead we can look towards the future usability of these cards. I was gonna complain about poor future usability, but Nene and Len managed to sneak in yet another event, making the future usability actually quite good. Sadly, Akito still has no use, as the last Vivi Bad Squad event in the pure attribute was On Your Feet, which is the Arkender for Vivi Bad Squad. The event both Wonderland Showtime Len and Nene is using is the event Catch the Criminal, The Tales of Detective Tenma, that is a Wonderland Showtime unit-focused event. This event will run from July 7th to July 15th and includes Tsukasa, Rui, and Wonderland Showtime Luca as the gacha characters. This of course means that both Nene and Len will have higher gameplay value, as they are only ever available with a 50% bonus during this event. This means that they're both higher gameplay value, as they can never be more than the 50% granted by the Picture Perfect cards, as well as them being limited card, which incentivizes you to upgrade them to Mastery Rank 2 for even more event bonus, as well as both Len and Nene having rather weak showings when it came to the pure attribute. The second event Nene and Len will see using is the event The Power of Regret, that will run from November 20th to November 28th, 2025. This is the most recently concluded event on the Japanese server and is a Wonderland Showtime unit-focused event once again. In the gacha for this event is Nene, Emu, and Len, meaning that both Len and Nene is available with a 70% bonus during this event. This does mean that the Picture Perfect Nene and Len are of lower gameplay value if you decide to summon from both Picture Perfect and the event The Power of Regret. But it is worth mentioning once again that both Nene and Len had very poor showings when it comes to the pure attribute, so the alternatives from Picture Perfect might be a good solution if you do not plan on summoning from The Power of Regret. Nene will also see use during a second event, being the event Put Your Heart Into It Dream Stage, also known as 4th Anniversary. This event will run from September 30th to October 10th and includes Shiho, Nene, Airi, and Toya in the gacha. This of course means that Nene will be available with a 70% bonus during this event, meaning that the picture perfect card will be of lower gameplay value, especially considering that this event is tied to a Bloom Festival. The exchange shop cards have a much better showing though when it comes to future usability. Both Anne and Toya sees use in 2 separate events each. Toya, being a cool attribute card, sees use first during the event Whip the Wimp Girl that will run from April 30th to May 7th. This is a limited Vivi Bad Squad unit-focused event with Kohane, Anne and Toya in the gacha, meaning that the exchange shop Toya will be of lower gameplay value for this event. After this, Toya sees use during the event Rekindle the Flame that will run from October 21st to October 29th and is a Vivi Bad Squad unit-focused event. In the gacha for this event is Akito, Kohane and Anne, meaning that Toya is only ever available with a 50% bonus for this event instead. Anne, on the other hand, is a mysterious attribute card, meaning that she will first see use in the event Over Rad Squad that will run from June 30th to July 7th. Over Rad Squad is another limited Vivi Bad Squad unit-focused event with Akito, Kohane and Miku in the gacha. Which means that the 3-star card from the exchange shop is of higher gameplay value as she is the maximum event bonus available for Anne. The final event the exchange shop cards see use in is Let It Ring that will run from the 9th of September to the 15th of September and is a mixed permanent event. In the gacha for this event is Toya, Anne and Kanade, meaning that the Anne from the exchange shop of Picture Perfect is of lower gameplay value for this event in particular. I was originally going to complain about the future usability of the gacha cards as it wasn't the strongest showing until the most recent event. Akito is of course still a sad situation, but seeing as Vivi Bad Squad has not yet had another unit-focused event in the pure attribute since On Your Feet, I do think it's due time that they will get one in the near future. But for now, Akito is a very weak card, while Nene and Len has a ton of future usability lined up. But I don't actually have a lot more to comment on with future usability, seeing the great changes to how usable these cards are, so instead we can look towards what new limited costumes will come out for Len, Akito and Nene. And when it comes to limited costumes, our first event is one that we mention consistently on this show, being Rise as One. This event is also known as 3.5 anniversary and will run from March 30th to April 8th. In the gacha is of course Honami, Kaito and Akito, and it's tied to the final colorful festival that we will ever see, with Tsukasa, Saki and Emu as the colorful festival exclusive cards. This is followed by Wedding Live with Everyone that will run from May 30th to June 7th. This is a standard limited event including Nene, Minori and Wonderland Showtime Luca in the gacha. This is followed by Over Rad Squad that we already mentioned, which will still run from June 30th to July 7th. As already mentioned, in the gacha is Akito, Miku and Kohane as the event characters, and this is the first ever event that is tied to a Bloom Festival, with Kanade and Meiko as the Bloom Festival exclusive cards. And we wrap this up with another event we already mentioned, being Put Your Heart Into It Dream Stage, or as it's more commonly known as 4th Anniversary. This event will once again run from September 30th to October 9th and includes Nene, Toya, Airi and Shiho in the event gacha. Of course, since this is an anniversary gacha, we also have a Bloom Festival tied to this gacha as well, with Rui and Rin as the Bloom Festival exclusive cards in the gacha. So there's a lot of high value gachas coming up for Akito and Nene, but if you're a Len fan, it is very much a dry spot at the moment. We also have some rerunning gachas where Len's prospects does look a bit better. And I will keep mentioning this so no one miss it, but the second rerun of any given limited gacha will be the final time that gacha is available as a standalone gacha before the cards join the Recollection Festival. As always, if you have not watched my video on the Recollection Festival, I highly suggest you do that, as I explain it in detail so you are prepared when it will arrive in August on the EN server. But for now, I will keep calling the second rerun the final rerun, so make sure to mark the date if there's any one of the gachas you want that is soon disappearing. And speedrunning through the rerunning gachas, of course, we are currently seeing the final rerun of the gacha Yearning for Spring, A Moment in the Night. This gacha will conclude on December 4th, and this is your final time that you can pull from this gacha. So if you want the Len, Kaito, Luca or Miku before it enters the Recollection Festival, make sure to get your final summons in now. But as for our upcoming gachas, the first one we will see is Fluffy Dreamland's second and final rerun in January. In February we will see the first rerun of Sweet Cute Valentine, which has its second rerun already confirmed for September 2025. We will also see the final rerun of Night So White in February as well. In June, we will see the final rerun of Darkness Festa, as well as the final rerun of Cybersnipe in August. Our final confirmed rerun for any one of these characters is the Emotional Music March Gacha that will have its first rerun in September of 2025 with no second rerun yet confirmed. So we have very few reruns to actually look forward to when it comes to Len, Nene and Akito. And most of these gachas either have their final rerun upcoming or already have their second rerun confirmed. So make sure if it's any one of these gachas that you really want a card from to mark the date and save your crystals accordingly. But with that, we have arrived at the final question of the video. Should you participate in the Picture Perfect event, and should you summon from the gacha your ticket to the City of Splendors? And I have seen such vastly different opinions about this event. I've seen a ton of people who think that this set is amazing with a lot of cool thematics and loving the costume and hairstyles it comes with. But I've seen just as many people who were super disappointed when this set released on JP, saying that the costumes are ugly and the hairstyles are uninspired. And I've also seen people who just forget that this set exists entirely, saying that it's filler masquerading as a limited set. Personally, and this is again my personal opinion, I don't have any strong feelings towards this set. The card art is decent and the costumes are solid, but I just don't feel like this set speaks to me on a personal level. The future usability of these cards also bogs the set down, as you can't really use these cards for anything other than this event as it currently stands. Especially not if you're considering summoning from 4th anniversary, as you will get a great Nene alternative in that event. Of course, if you're a massive Len fan, I can definitely see the argument that having more of Len in different attributes and units is a great addition, and I will not argue with you, as you can always slot him in the more options you have. But for Akito and Nene, there are great options in the permanent variety for them if you don't really feel like pulling for limited cards. Especially seeing with how many fan favorite gachas are being phased out for the Recollection Festival. With Darkness Festa, Night So White and Cybersnipe all being on the way out during summer 2025, as well as events such as Rise as One and 4th anniversary being upcoming with these characters in the gacha. And I sadly feel like I have to agree that this event feels like filler. Especially considering next to the unchanging warmth being around the corner and the potential for Sanrio confirmation being very close, it feels like. We also have the global rerun for the 3rd anniversary just around the corner, as well as several high-profile events such as Rise as One and Whip the Whip Girl just a few months away. So I personally feel like I can't with a good conscience say that you should pull from this gacha, but of course it's your crystals and your happiness, and you should always pick the cards that make you the happiest, not what anyone else says. So down in the comments, tell me, do you agree with my take on Picture Perfect, or do you think I'm being too harsh once again on a set that's actually really good? And while you're down there, make sure you're subscribed, have rung the bell and left a like, as all of these things help me immensely. And if you feel inclined, you can check out my Patreon, which is linked down in the description. I of course want to thank every single one of my patrons, but special thanks to my append playing patrons, being Ollie, Peterish, Ranmaru, Shoop, and Veritas Uwu. I cannot thank you all enough, as you make it more secure for me to continue working on these and maybe taking 1 or 2 days off here and there to work on bigger, more elaborate projects. Seriously, it's still unfathomable that people wanna subscribe to my Patreon, let alone take the highest tier. It just baffles me actually. But with that, thank you for making it to the end of the video. I will not keep you here any longer. Let's get out of here for the week.